Do you feel that the violence which is broken out from this is a matter of between two individuals, or is it, by your investigation, possibly involving the schools?
I do not believe that it is school-wide. I think it's a few individuals from each of the schools, but not the student body as a whole.
Well, since it didn't happen at the school, it isn't directly under your realm, but what can you do through the school system to correct it, perhaps?
This spills over into the school in the form of unrest and concern amongst the students, and so the principals are talking with the student leaders and trying to allay any fears and dangers and cut off possible trouble.
In many instances, and in most cases, I would say it has improved a great deal. And that applies to the water department, which I did. It applies, and incidentally, I'm not through yet. I have to work like the dickens between now and tomorrow afternoon when I go home. And the fire department has definitely improved. Now, that doesn't mean that the water department is perfect, nor the fire department. As a matter of fact, you just don't see any perfect departments.
The Fort Worth Police Community Relations Division has opened the third of its storefront centers, this one at 206 West Exchange in Fort Worth. These centers provide special services for area residents, particularly dealing with minority groups and helping to increase understanding between those groups and the Fort Worth Police Department. Last night, 4 boys and 2 girls were arrested by Fort Worth police on a routine investigation in the 6100 block of Camp Bowie Boulevard. A patrol officer stopped a car to report and to write a ticket for no taillights. He discovered a bottle on the front seat of the car, was told that it held dog vitamins. Investigation proved it was marijuana. 4 of those arrested were juveniles. They are being handled by the juvenile department. Charges will be filed against the other 2, both teenagers. The investigation continues into the weekend beer bust staged by 72 high school students in Fort Worth. Today, Superintendent of Schools Julius Truelson spent the day investigating the reports and talking with each of the youngsters involved, specifically about the clubs, which may be secret clubs, to which these members allegedly belonged. Last Monday, at the regularly scheduled meeting of the Tarrant County Commissioners Court, Commissioner Skeet Richardson was on the agenda to discuss something about the Board of Advisors at the Convention Center here in Fort Worth. He said he'd rather delay that. Well, it's been delayed. Now it's been discussed. The legal advisor to the court, Jim Morgan, and Commissioner Richardson have had a bit of a disagreement about what the role should be for the advisors to the Commissioner's Court. Richardson says they're hiring people, which only the court should be allowed to do. Morgan says the only people they're hiring are people the court approves. So that battle goes on. In Fort Worth, Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News.
No, I am not. I'm dealing with black and white people generally, and this goes for the athlete. We're dealing with the black and white athlete. I would have to say that All Pro will give the black athlete, as well as the athlete that hasn't been in the limelight, more of an opportunity to make an impact on the business world.
What prompted you or motivated you to get into this particular line of endeavor?
A need that people, minority people, not just black, but minority people, black and white, as well as athletes have. That's a need to be an entrepreneur.
Last year, before you went to St. Louis, they were on the spotlight as being a racially disheveled club. Is it as bad as the picture was painted?
It was extremely bad. I would have to say that this exists in every National Football League team in the league. And the only reason I can't specifically say American League football team because I haven't been associated with any American League teams. But I do know a lot of football players. And the problem is there. It's just that St. Louis's problem brought out into the open by some outspoken guys. And I think it's done more to help the St. Louis team than a lot of words, money, or anything could have done.
Of course, the focus, if there was a villain in the series in Sports Illustrated, I assume it would be Chuck Drulis. He made a public apology for what he apparently said were ideas that he didn't know that he was expressing. Do you detect a change in his approach?
I detect a change, and I also have to say that it was probably, everything that was written was probably halfway or 90% true about Chuck and the Cardinals, but I would have to say that there was considerable turnabout. because I had problems with the Cardinals. Not athletically, because I was having a great year, but I had problems in another area. And I guess it had to do more with business. But I have to say one thing, and that was Chuck Julius, who was my coach, had a complete change. And I think this change was made not by the public after Chuck. I think it was facilitated by Chuck finally realizing how somebody else saw him.
Let's just talk plain football. You had a quarterback problem last year, Charlie, when they're trying to decide whether to go with Charlie Johnson or Jim Hart. Is that the key to success for St. Louis this coming year, do you think, to solve that particular situation?
Yes, sir. And I think it's the success of the morale. The success of the team will depend on the morale of the team. And the right quarterback will ultimately decide the fate of the Cardinals.
The Fort Worth Fire Department still is not listed as the finest firefighting unit in the United States. It is not completely up to standards according to the standards set by the American Insurance Association. It does not have all the equipment, all the personnel, or the high degree of efficiency which they would like to see a fire department have. But then, being absolutely fair about it, few, if any, fire departments ever attain that high level of standard. George Stahl, who is the senior engineer for the Insurance Association's investigating team, which has just completed its most recent analysis of the Fort